All right, so we're back for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at something a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's called Meditation Peace by Ira Warren Whiteside. And,
Nice.
as you might guess, it's about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found really interesting about this piece is that it's not so much a how-to guide
Yeah.
to meditation, like here are the steps and whatnot. It's more about the kind of philosophy behind it,
Right.
the why you would do it,
I do.
and some of the kind of emotional
Uh-huh.
or, I guess, psychological benefits that you might get out of it. So I'm curious to hear your take on this. What jumped out at you?
Well, I gotta say, the first thing that I noticed was just how often Ira used the word release.
Really?
Yeah, like releasing fear, releasing memories, and even releasing guilt.
Ah.
There's a lot of emphasis on letting go of things.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is like you're clearing out space for something new. But why those things specifically? Like, what's the connection between releasing fear and memories
Yeah.
and guilt
Right.
and actually finding peace?
Well, think about it. Those are all emotions that are kind of rooted in the past, right?
Yeah.
They keep us from being present. Fear keeps us stuck. Guilt weighs us down. And clinging to old memories, especially bad ones, just prevents us from moving forward.
Yeah.
And, there's even some neuroscientific evidence that suggests that when we experience new things, it actually changes the way those old memories are stored in our brains.
Really?
Yeah, it's called memory reconsolidation. So it's not about forgetting those memories altogether. It's more like changing how they affect us.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So it's like our brains are constantly evolving and reshaping based on our experiences.
Exactly.
So it's not just like a feel-good idea. It's actually like
Yeah.
a real thing that's happening in our brains.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. And then Ira goes on to talk about making new memories, almost like it's the next step after releasing all that old baggage.
Right.
Why is that important?
Well, if you think about it, it's not enough to just empty your mind,
Yeah.
You got to fill it up with something good.
Right.
So creating new positive memories, it's kind of like planting seeds in a garden that's been cleared of weeds.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, those new memories, they compete with the old ones for your attention.
Yeah.
And over time, those positive experiences, they start to become more dominant and they shape how you see the world.
That makes a lot of sense. So we're literally rewiring our brains for peace,
Exactly.
not stress.
Yeah.
But that takes effort.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. It's not something that just happens passively.
Right.
You have to consciously choose to do things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Spend time in nature, cultivate good relationships, be creative, even just appreciating the small things in life.
Yeah, it's like being intentional about the experiences we want to create.
Absolutely.
There's this one line that really stuck with me, you in the making. And it comes right between the parts about releasing the old and making the new.
Right.
What do you think Ira meant by that?
Well, to me, it kind of emphasizes that finding peace isn't a destination, It's
Yeah.
a journey, it's a process of becoming. Like, we're always changing and growing. And each experience we have, each memory we choose to focus on, it shapes who we are. It's a reminder that we have a choice in who we become.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just stuck with whoever we were in the past.
Right.
We have the power to change.
That's powerful. So if we're always in the making, how do we access those hidden parts of ourselves, the parts that might be holding us back? Ira talks about our bodies having a protective mechanism
Oh, yeah.
that suppresses bad memories. Why would our minds want to do that?
Well, think of it like a psychological immune system, right?
Okay.
It's there to protect you from being overwhelmed by pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like when something really traumatic happens, your mind might try to bury that memory to help you cope.
Right.
It can actually be helpful in the short term.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you're constantly avoiding or suppressing those difficult emotions, they don't just disappear.
Yeah.
They can kind of fester beneath the surface and lead to things like anxiety, depression, even physical health problems.
Like sweeping dirt under the rug.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It might look clean, but it's still there causing problems.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that dirt?
Mm-hmm.
Ira mentions meditation as a way to release those suppressed memories.
Mhm.
What's the connection there?
Well, meditation is all about creating space to observe your thoughts and emotions without judging them,
Mm-hmm.
It's like gently peeling back the layers of all that suppression and allowing yourself to finally process those difficult experiences.
That makes sense. So it's like finally confronting that dirt under the rug.
Exactly. And when you do that through mindfulness, you can start to become aware of the sensations, thoughts, and feelings associated with those memories.
Okay.
And you can start to understand them without being totally overwhelmed by them.
So you're not just reliving the trauma, you're learning to process it.
Exactly.
Okay, that leads to Ira's next point, which is about the importance of slowing the breath,
Yeah.
clearing the mind, and accepting reality even if it's unpleasant.
Right.
How do those things help us find peace?
Well, first of all, when you slow down your breathing, you're calming your nervous system, you're creating a sense of stillness. And then when you clear your mind through practices like meditation, you start to see things more clearly without all the mental chatter that usually gets in the way.
Right.
And then when you combine those things with acceptance, really accepting the present moment for what it is, even if it's not ideal, that's when you create the conditions for peace to emerge. You're not fighting reality anymore, you're flowing with it.
Wow, that's really profound.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
So to kind of wrap things up, Ira emphasizes that this is just their personal experience and what worked for them might not work for everyone.
Right.
Why is that important to remember?
Well, because we're all different, right? We all have different backgrounds, personalities, needs. What works for one person might not work for another. So it's important to approach the pursuit of peace with an open mind and be willing to experiment to find what works best for you.
Absolutely. It's like finding your own unique path.
Exactly.
So to recap, we've been talking about this idea of finding peace. And it's not a quick fix, it's a process. It's about releasing negativity, forming new positive memories, and practicing things like meditation and mindfulness to cultivate inner peace. It's a journey, not a destination.
That's a great way to put it.
And on that note, I'd like to leave you with a final thought. If you were to write your own guide to inner peace, what would it say? What practices or insights resonate most strongly with you? That's something to ponder as we wrap up our deep dive for today.
Until next time.
See you then.